Hello and welcome back to the Airtime Rush YouTube channel, where today we are carrying on with our Planet Coaster 2 series, Adventure Isles. This is episode 2. If you missed episode 1, make sure you go and check that out. In the first episode, we basically built a big entrance area, themed to Victorian Britain, and now we're going into our first proper themed area with some proper rides, basically. And this is going to be like a Norway Viking area. So as you can see here, we're working on our first ride for this area, which is going to be an indoor log flume. Now, the inspiration for this is very heavily themed on Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I've even kind of gone for the same layout. I was looking online for the actual layout and I couldn't actually find anything, so I've just kind of watched a few videos and kind of guessed what the layout is. Obviously, the theme's going to be different. It's not going to be the exact same as Valhalla. I'm going to put my own spin on it and stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the layout. It's a pretty decent size as well. Like, the building's realistic. The actual layout's pretty realistic as well, and the height as well. I've kept it as realistic as I can with the height. But yeah, this is, for me, the hardest part is actually mapping out a ride. It's the same with roller coasters as well. It does take me a few goes just to make sure I've got the right layout that I want. But as you can see, I'm trying to loop it round for this final drop. And by the time the final drop's here, it's a lot shorter than I wanted it to be. So I ended up actually deleting most of this and redoing it. And also it made the ride a lot bigger. The building would have been a lot bigger if I kept with this. But I am just putting in some boundary walls just so I know where the edge of the ride is. And then eventually, once I've themed the inside, I can build this massive warehouse around it. Now, Planet Coaster 2, one of the main reasons for me getting this game was the fact that dark rides are now dark. Like in the first game, you had to set it to nighttime for it to actually be dark. And I was really excited for that. But unfortunately, I found out that my graphics card actually doesn't allow me to do this, which I was really annoyed about, because they didn't really say much about that with the launch of it. You actually need a ray tracing graphics card. I think I've got a 1060 graphics card, so it's obviously quite an old one. But still, I'm a bit annoyed by this because they didn't really say much about that until I actually tried building this dark ride and found out that it wasn't dark inside. So I do have to do the whole, like, going back into nighttime for it to work and stuff, which I'm a bit annoyed about. But it is what it is. I'm not too fussed. It's still a really good dark ride at the end of it. You'll see at the end of it when I show you the actual POV and stuff. But yeah, I've actually gone for this last drop. I'm actually putting a vertical lift hill, which is one of the new features on these log flumes, which I really wanted to use. So that's why I put it in this final bit. And also at the beginning there, you can see there's a bit of a turntable as well. I wanted to try one of them out. But yeah, I'm just putting this final splashdown in before going back into the station. Also, guys, sorry about my voice. I'm a bit poorly at the moment, so that's why my voice sounds a bit like this. But yeah, I'm doing this first drop now, so we're just putting up. I want it to be a bit of a tunnel. So the actual storyline, I'm still kind of working out the storyline. I'll kind of go along, letting you guys know throughout the video what the actual storyline is. But basically, you go through this portal on this first hill. And then the first bit, which is this turnaround, is some sort of like magical garden kind of thing. And then you go into the turntable where you're going to get stamped by a god, and that'll allow you to pass into the next area, which is going to be like a frozen battlefield kind of thing. So there we think about the cold room in Valhalla, that sort of theme. And then from there, you go down in the first drop into an abandoned village where it's just really quiet. There's not a lot going on in there. It's really eerie. And then you go up the vertical lift hill up to the second area, which is going to be where you meet the actual gods and stuff like that. And they'll give you permission to fight for them. And then you go into this big final splashdown at the end, into this final battle where you're fighting for the gods. So yeah, you can see I'm just still working on this first hill. This took a while, you know, to actually get this to be how I wanted it. There is actually a patch coming out soon, which would make this also like a lot easier. Like, sometimes when you click off stuff, you have to go back into the menu to reselect certain items and stuff. There's a few things in this game which are really annoying, but I'm glad that they are starting to fix some of these things. But going back to the darkness issue that I've got, that I actually can't do it. When I finish this park and I put it onto the workshop, you guys will be able to download it. And if you have got a decent graphics card, you'll be able to set it to nighttime, so it will perform a lot better for you than it does for me. But I've done the best I can. with what I've got. Obviously, there are like ways around it by just setting it to nighttime. It's not ideal, but it works still. So yeah, we're doing this first area now. So this is going to be my kind of garden, tranquil area. I'm going to put a water feature in here, like a waterfall. Just putting a lot of rocks in. Again, rocks. I'm very lazy when it comes to rocks. I just kind of just pile the same type on top of each other and just hope it looks good, which sometimes you can get away with, but sometimes you can tell it's just the same piece rotated around. But I kind of theme this in quite well, so you can't really notice. And then this is what I love. I love this scaling option. So I could put one of these big ponds in and put a bit of water effect in there, and it looks like it's a bit of like a pond underneath the thing, because obviously the waterfall, it needs a body of water to fall into. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this looked. Again, just still working with a lot of these little features, seeing make sure they look well. But the thing that I've struggled with this game, I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but the triggers don't seem to work. I tried to put a few triggers in this area and throughout the ride as well, and they just weren't starting or anything like that. I put a post on a Facebook group, and apparently it's a bug, so hopefully that'll get sorted too, because there's a few triggers that I do want to put in the ride, like doors open and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll come soon. Well, I don't think it's coming in the next update, but hopefully the one after that, they'll sort that out. But this first area is coming along really nicely. I'm just putting in this like backdrop wall. So when you're coming along the trough, you're not going to be looking at this left-hand side. You're going to be looking at the right where the waterfall is. So I just kind of wanted a background wall. I didn't want it to be like a plain wall, because obviously with me not being able to put it pitch black, you're going to be able to see everything. So I still need to theme up quite a lot of the walls just to make sure just to make sure it looks good on the ride. But yeah, I put this all the way around. I do come back to, like, there's a lot of times where I kind of go off and do another bit and then go back to other things. That's just stop me from getting bored. I don't like working on the same area for too long. I kind of like just moving around and doing other bits. So yeah, I do come back to certain areas. And this select tool as well is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. I kind of keep accidentally selecting the whole ride and stuff like that. But yeah, I do love the copy and pastes, so it makes things a lot easier. But yeah, I'm just trying to theme up this wall a bit more. Like I said, I do come back and put like some sort of overhead beams and stuff on that, which do look good. So on this turntable, this is the bit where you get your stamp to go into the god's realm, basically. That's kind of the theme I'm going for. I didn't want it to be just like Valhalla or Blackpool. I wanted it to be a bit different. So yeah, I kind of go on my own storyline on this. I don't know if it works, but I also need a name for this ride as well, guys. So if you guys can let me know in the comments down below what you would call this. Again, not Valhalla, because I don't want to copy. I don't want it to be a copy of something else. Like, I really do like these switch tracks and stuff that they're added to the game. But when you do a POV of them, they are so janky. Like, the whole boat kind of like jumps up into the air and the camera kind of freaks out. Again, I think that's just a bug, so hopefully it'll sort that as well. You'll see when I put the POV in towards the end, that the camera does jank up and down. It doesn't look great. Basically, yeah, with these, I'm just putting these in. So these are just going to put a bit of depth into this room, because I didn't want it to just be these 4 wooden walls. I kind of wanted something else to be in here. And again, because I can't have it pitch black in there, I have to theme it up. Like a lot of dark rides in real life, there is a lot of blank walls. You just don't pay attention to them because it's so dark. And with a lot of clever lighting and stuff in a lot of dark rides, they kind of force your eye away from the blank areas, basically. Which, unfortunately, I don't have the privilege of being able to do that. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. So I'm just trying to theme it as good as I can. The next bit after this is a bit of a blank space. So there won't be as much theming in this next bit after I've done this bit. You kind of drop down into like a dark. In real life, it'll probably just be like a polytunnel kind of thing. But in this, it's just blank walls, basically. And it works. I didn't want it to be a heavily themed area. And I'm also, this isn't the final project what you're seeing now as well. I do go back and tinker with it. So I want to put in some like fire exits and stuff like that to make it a bit more realistic. But again, I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll kind of do that off camera. I don't like this big concrete pillar that we've got underneath the turntable. That's a bit of an eyesore. But it is what it is. I kind of had to just work with it. But yeah, doing this other section now. This is just going to be a big black, dark tunnel, basically. So I'm just putting these in now. Yeah, at the moment it looks a bit stupid because it's all floating, like the building's floating, but as the like perimeter walls and the roof and the flooring comes in, it does start to look a lot better. Just trust the process, guys. With a lot of builds, it does take a while for it to all come in, and also that turntable bit as well. That's where I wanted to put a door, so I wanted to block off this dark corridor, but I just couldn't get the door to trigger. Trigger just does not work for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If you guys know, because I've seen people, I've obviously heard people say that it's a glitch, but I've also watched people's videos and they've managed to do it. So if you guys know how to get that to work, then that'd be brilliant. Also, another thing that's doing my head in with this game, I know I'm moaning a lot, because, but there is a lot of things, like a lot of bugs at the moment. When you're colouring a piece of scenery, and then you click, so for example, say I've got a roof piece and I've got it black, and then I go into the scenery again and pick a different piece, it won't be the same colour. I'll have to then change the colour of that back to black. Instead of, I think in Planet Coaster 1, you could just pick one colour and everything you pick will be that colour. It just made things so much easier, but unfortunately, in fact, I think that's coming in the new patch, which is coming soon, so hopefully that will get sorted, because that is really annoying. But this part now, so we've done that dark tunnel bit, which there's nothing going to be in there. I'm going to have a fire exit in there, some steps and stuff like that. Again, Valhalla inspired. The bit between the turntable of Valhalla and the cold room is literally just a dark tunnel, so that's kind of what I wanted. So this is going to be my cold room kind of thing. This is going to be like a frozen battlefield. So I'm just putting all these rocks in. We're going to have like a snow effect in there, lots of blue lighting, and also I'm going to put a boat in there as well, so it's like it's crashed in the frozen ocean as well, which it does look really cool. Again, I just wish I could do it at night time and I like do it so it's actually pitch black in there. But again, it is what it is. I'm very happy with the ending. Make sure you stick around to the ending, because you will see the POV, and it is really, really good. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Again, just putting in a bit of trees and stuff like that. I do come back into this bit and do a bit more editing. I put some big like Viking pillars in as well, which make it look a lot better, because it just looked a bit too simple. And I do put some fences in as well to hide that panel wall as well that you can see. Again, most dark rides, they do have walls like that, but you just can't see them because of how dark it is. I'm also just going to recolour the track in a second as well, because I just realised that I had this horrible blue support system as well. So yeah, I end up going and just changing the colour of it just to make it fit in a lot better. But this, I'm happy with this room. It does look a lot better in the final part of the video, where I've actually gone back and done a bit more. And you can see that bit of trough there at the top. Throughout the ride is little bars that go across. I think it's a bit of a glitch as well with that. So hopefully they fix that soon. But you can see here, this is basically the darkness levels we're seeing at daytime, and then I do go in at night time, and it isn't too bad. I think it is better than Planet Coaster 1, but I'm still not 100% happy that it's not pitch black like they did advertise it to be. But yeah, just doing this next drop now. So with the drops on Valhalla, they are very, I don't know, I'd love to do a behind the scenes of Valhalla, because it's hard to actually describe what they look like. Like, are they in tunnels, or is it just because it's so black you can't work out, like, have they got walls like this what I'm putting in? I'm not too sure. But I just thought for the actual ride experience, I'm just going to put walls in basically. And again, I come back and I do theme up this. I put some like wooden edging in as well, just to make it better themed when you're on the ride, because you can see a lot of the boxy building as well, which I didn't really want, but I couldn't really hide it very well without like heavily theming it, so I do go back. But this part here, you drop down into, and it's going to be like a village, so I kind of use the walls as a bit of 2D theming. So I build some buildings onto this wall, so it's like you're going through this like abandoned village, like Viking village. So at this point of building this, I was a bit like, ooh, this looks a bit cheap and a bit rubbish, but it does actually come together. Again, bear with me, it does look a bit stupid at the moment, but when I start adding all the all the bits of theming onto it. It does look a lot better than what it does at this point, but yeah, I was umming and ahhing whether to just delete this and just go with a completely different idea. I was toying with lots of different pieces of scenery as well, just to see what could fit, as well as I could probably get with what I was trying to do. With it obviously being 2D, I couldn't put in these massive roofs that these Viking buildings have, so I kind of put on this. So this is hanging. You can see there the angle. It hangs over the drop. This roof that I put in, but I thought that'd be fine. I could put some sort of um, balcony area on this part, and again I go in with like lots of windows and doors and stuff and theme it up, and also lighting. I go with a nice subtle lighting in this area because I wanted it to feel abandoned. So it's just like lanterns and stuff. That's the kind of lighting I've got in this area. But yeah, I was building this and I was like, yeah, it's looking okay. Just add in a few more bits. I think I actually go for like a prefab scenery piece in this bit as well, just to save on time. And obviously they look really good, the ones that have already been built. I don't want to use anything from the workshop on this this park. I want it to be all my own, apart from a few little buildings that the Frontier have obviously added to the game for us to use, so I thought that was fine. So yeah, working on this little, I've done like a little pre-drop to go up to the vertical lift hill. So I'm just going to do this as some sort of like Viking hut kind of thing. So you go around the village and then through this hut, and then the actual lift hill itself is going to be it's like a bit like a well. So you're going up the well, it's like a lot of brickwork and stuff like that. But again, just adding as much detail as I can, just making it look good. Yeah, I'm not too sure if I changed the colour of these roof tiles. I don't really like the red. I think I prefer more of a grey. But I'm not sure if I... Do I go back? No, I don't think I do. I think I keep it as that. But when it's dark anyway, you can't really tell. But yeah, just adding a few more. You can see now it's starting to come together a lot better now. I've added some more buildings on the other side. And I obviously just need to add the few buildings at the end of the drop as well, which I do in a minute as well. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turns out. Again, I've gone back and I have added even more detail to these parts, so it does look even better than it does now. I think that's the thing, you just need to be patient in this game. It's like, you look at this now, it looks so random. You're probably thinking, this looks crap, and I agree with you. But by the time I finished it, honestly, it does look a lot better. But yeah, this is the well that I built. I did build the actual main bit off camera, and then I'm just going in doing this other bit here to connect the two areas up. I do like the idea of having vertical lift hills and stuff. I'm so glad they added it to the game. I just hope they fix the jankiness on the POV. You're probably like, oh, what you on about? But honestly, wait until you watch the POV. They are so janky. I don't know how it passed the sign off, and they've gone, yeah, that looks fine. We'll just release the game now because it's honestly so bad. But yeah, you can see that's the highest part of the ride here. What we're working on, and just putting the roof on a few areas now. So that is the turnaround section, and I'm just looking at it from afar, just to see how it looks. And again, it just looks a mess because it's just loads of layers of different bits. But again, I do go back and tinker a lot of areas. But like I said before, I definitely am really bad for kind of starting one area and going back to another without finishing it. But I think for my own sanity, I do need to do that. It's like you'll see me, if I wasn't doing this series, I'll probably have started another area by now. Whilst doing this one, I'll probably have like 2 or 3 areas on the go. And just like flip between doing each of them. I think I'll just get bored like doing the same area, and at least like at the moment I've done most of the ride. It's just literally the final turnaround section and that little turnaround section, and then it's more or less done. I just need to go back and just heavily theme it a bit more. But this is the final drop now, so this is going to be like at the top of the vertical lift, you then meet all the gods. And the gods want you to fight for them. You drop down into this final battle. There's going to be like burning ships and stuff like that. Lots of fire. Again, when I can get triggers working, I'll have a lot of like explosions going off. But at the moment, I can't do that. So yeah, you go down into this big finale. Oh, I like these cloths are really, really good. And again, you can resize them as well, which I absolutely love. Yeah, you can see I'm just putting a few little bits down, a few little pre-made bits as well, and just lighting it up as best as I can. I want a lot of like lanterns, and then the flames. So when it's dark and you go into this end bit, it's very orange, lots of fire. It looks really, really cool, just like the finale on Valhalla. Really, such a good ending for a ride. But that's what I was going for in the end, and it turned out really, really well. I do end up putting a big boat here. Here we go. There you go. Yeah, I think that looks really, really good. Again, Valhalla's pretty similar as well, so I was pretty happy with how that looked. And then I did my trick with these big fountain pieces. Put it down, sink it into the ground a little bit. It just looks like it's in the water, which is great. And again, if it weren't for the resizing tool, that wouldn't be possible. So yeah, that's what I'm really, really happy with that. Also, just ignore these big blue supports. I do end up colouring them black just to blend in a lot better. At the moment, they stick out. But yeah, I'm really happy with the final scene. I think it looks fantastic. Especially if you do look at behind the scenes photos of Valhalla, it looks just like it really. I'm really happy with how it looks. Just putting this perimeter, this is going to be the edge of the building as well. I always like to leave a bit of a gap just so it doesn't interfere with any of the other scenery pieces, and then I just start to build that up. I did this really just to get an idea of the height of the building, just so I know what I'm working with for when because obviously we're gonna have to theme up the front of this building as well. And a spoiler, it looks great. I'm really happy with how it looks when I finally themed up the front of the building. And then obviously the back doesn't need to be themed. A lot of theme parks, they only do the front. They only need to do what the guests see. Even the side here, because I've got the car park there. I don't even need to do the side, because obviously when you're in the park you won't be able to see that, and it doesn't really matter from the car park, because people won't know what it is. They'll just think it's like a maintenance building or something like that. So yeah, a lot of theme parks, you just only need to theme up the bits that the guests see. Then we've got this final top area. That's basically the only part of the ride that I had left to do, so I was really, really happy with how it was going. Again, I just wanted to put a part of the roof in now, just to see what it looks like. Basically, just looks like a big mailbox, and that's kind of what Dark Rides should be. So again, I was really happy with that. I just wanted to put this on. I do end up deleting parts just so I can get back to that, to finishing that top bit there. But you'll see in a minute. I do get back to that in a minute. A bit annoying how the top of the vertical lift hill kind of sticks out, but is what it is. I can theme that up. I can put like a few vents up there as well. And now I'm working on the front of the building again. You know me, I don't like sticking to one thing. I like to do a lot. I think I mainly did this because I was stressing about the building being too big, and I was like, how the heck am I going to theme this up? I had an idea in my head of what I wanted to do. So this I'm putting in now is going to be like it's basically where the queue is, but it also acts as a bit of a barrier from the warehouse as well. And I was building it and it just looked massive, so I had to make it a bit smaller. But then I was like, oh, what am I going to do about this big gap at the top? So I ended up just putting a lot of rocks in. But I actually find a perfect rock that I could resize, and that made... I only needed 2 or 3 to actually cover the front of the building. You'll see in a minute I actually find it, and it just works perfectly, because normally you'll have to put hundreds and hundreds of these individual rocks in, and then it looks a bit too much. But these ones that I managed to get really, really large, they just look perfect, and they just fit in where the buildings are, basically. So yeah, I wanted this main buildings for... There's a bit of a queue line in there, and then this bit that I'm putting in here, another little queue line, and then on the left of this building that I'm doing, you can't see it yet, but that's going to be where the exit is, and there's also going to be a gift shop and some dryers as well where you can get dried off. Because obviously it's going to be quite a soaker of a ride, just like Valhalla. If you've ever been in Valhalla, you come off there absolutely drenched. Every time we come off there drenched. I dragged my wife Kaylee on it last time we were at Pleasure Beach. That was her first time on it, and she was not impressed with how wet we got. But it's such a good one. It's definitely worth getting wet on, just for the adventure and just how good it is. And I wanted this to be like that. I wanted it to be a ride that everyone wants to do. And water rides seem to be very popular on Planet Coaster with the guests as well, so you can't go wrong with that. Like I said, I've gone for the 2-seater log flume as well, so the capacity is going to be a lot better, because normally on Planet Coaster 1, I think the queue time on the log flumes were quite high as well, because the capacity wasn't as good. But at least on this, it should be better. And I've got a few boats on there as well, so it should get through people pretty quickly. But yeah, this bit here is just a bit of a veranda kind of thing. Just acts as a bit of decoration, really. Well, here I'm cutting through the hall into the station. Again, I'll come back and do the station. Now, the paths are so annoying on this game. I'm still struggling with the paths. I can't seem to get them right. I kind of miss the Planet Coaster 1 paths where you can like catapen them, but you just can't seem to do it on this. Sorry, my voice is so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, you can see here I'm trying, and the camera just kept like flicking up into the building. Yeah, I was doing my head in, and then I was doing it too much, so the path was going into the building. But it is what it is. I'm still learning. See, I'm just putting the floor in just for the queue line, and I do come back and I do put a lot of theming into this queue line. So don't take this as like the finished project, because I do go back and do quite a lot of work in here as well. But I just love how this actually turns out. This outdoor building. Obviously, this is the first part that you see when you come into the land. You see this big mountain kind of thing with these Viking huts in front of it, and then you got the bridge that goes over this lagoon here where you can see, and then into the mainland, where next episode we are going to have a dive coaster, which is my first go at a roller coaster on this game, and I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. Like, I've already recorded it. I'm quite far into the actual recording. Obviously, I then have to edit it, voice over it as well, so that's why the episodes are coming pretty slowly. But there's going to be so many episodes in this. I'm thinking maybe be about 30 episodes. I'm not sure. Again, I'm probably say this Viking one's going to be 4 episodes, and there's going to be a few lands. So yeah, I'll probably say 30 is probably realistic, to be fair. But yeah, we're going back inside now. We're doing this top bit. This is where you come and meet the gods, basically. So I actually quite like these fences. I think these are really, really cool. So I was playing around with these, making sure I can kind of block off. I didn't want to have lots of walls up here. I wanted it to be a big open warehouse, but with lots of stud walls. So these pointy fences kind of work as these stud walls to stop you being able to see the next scene without me putting in like a proper tall permanent wall. Now these here are where you can attach scenery pieces, and you can basically make them move. So if you've been on Valhalla, you'll see there's these 2 logs that come smashing towards you, and they nearly hit you. They obviously don't, and then they splash water at you. So I wanted something like that. Again, I had a nightmare with the triggers. You can see me here moving the trigger around, connected it up to it, and by the time the actual boat came round, the trigger just wouldn't work. So I've kind of looped these to go off every like 5 seconds. You can see here I'm waiting for a boat. It takes quite a while for it to come round, but then nothing. So I was messing around with the speed of it. I didn't know if it just wasn't going off in time. So yeah, in the end, I've just put them on loop, and I've looped them for like every 5 seconds, so they'll go back. And every time I've done a POV on it, they seem to be lining up with the boat, so it's not that much of an issue. But it would be nice if they can get it working again. And then I turned the speed up then, and they just went absolutely crazy, just going back and forth, and that's just not what I wanted. And then because I edited one of them without pausing it, the other one were out of sync. So I had honestly, this took me a good few minutes to try and sort this out. But yeah, really frustrating. And then I was just decided to. I think I've got it right now. I think I've got it just to go off every 5 seconds, and then it's just about theming them up, making sure it looks like they're basically like on swings on the Blackpool one. They come swinging down and they look like they're gonna hit you. So I put in this framework to kind of look like they're being held by this wooden scaffolding kind of thing. And then again, going around with this this fake wall just to hide all the backstage area bits. Obviously, I kind of made it so the log weren't going through it, but you can see there it does clip it a bit, so I probably will go back and sort that out. But yeah, so you come up the vertical lift, you got this upside down boat that they're doing work on, you got these logs, and then you meet this is one of the gods. He gives you, he grants you permission to go through to the rest of the gods and get their blessing, basically. So I was working on that again, trying to use these as arms, but they didn't really work that well. I don't know if I actually go back and solve that because that doesn't look great. You're probably thinking as well that the floor looks really bare, but I do come back and put some like foliage on that floor as well, just to make it look better. And then here, this is the Forge of the Gods. This is where they forge their weapons, and then these are the gods that I put in here. Again, it's a pre-built, already in the game that I put in. I just move a few of them around. So these are the gods that you're trying to get your blessing from, and then you drop down that final drop there, which I really like. This this archway that I put in here, that again was one of the pre-made parts of it, and I'm really happy with that. I think it's a good entrance into that final drop. And then the final drop, I put like a lot of rock work in as well. I did that off camera because that took a long time. And this video is already going to be really long, so I kind of cut a few bits out. But yeah, you can see here, going in with the foliage. Again, this will just be like plastic, ivy and stuff like that that you find at your local garden centre, just like sprinkled around the floor. And then again, I had to build it a little bit higher, just because some of the scenery in there, like the gods, were actually quite tall, and I didn't want them clipping through the roof, so I just thought I could just put a taller part in. I don't have to make the whole building tall, and that way as well, I managed to go around that vertical lift area as well, to make sure that that's not sticking out either, so that kind of worked. And then it's just going in with the roof as well, and if you look then when I went under with the camera, it did look like a lot of light were coming in, so with the whole, well, you can see there, it looks very light, even though it's more or less all enclosed. So I was thinking, is it the kind of building that I'm using that's making it light, or is it, and then I found out it is my graphics card that that doesn't allow me to have the complete darkness. So again, it is what it is. Oh, you can see there, I obviously didn't record it, you can see them big rocks at the front there. And I honestly think they look fantastic. But this part that I'm putting in here, this is going to be the exit area, gift shop, and the dryers as well. The dryers are actually in-game as well, but I don't know if they're just for the water park, or if guests will actually use them in a normal theme park. But I'll put them in there anyway. Normally I'd use like a workshop kind of thing for that. So yeah, even if people don't use them, they look good. So I thought I'll put them there. Putting the gift shops in there, and then obviously I need to work on the path. Again, I love this part of the pathing tool. I think that's great. Again, I'm struggling with these bits, the actual stairs going up. I can never, you can see there, I'm having a nightmare with it, trying to connect it. Again, I don't know if it's just me not knowing how to use it, or if it is just the actual game being like that. But yeah, that's something that I do need to get better at, because it is so frustrating. Or hopefully, if it is the game, they can sort that. But yeah, these are the dryers. Again, look really cool. Don't know if they'll actually use them. I don't know if they're only used for the water parks. And speaking of water parks, should I do a water park in this theme park as well? I weren't planning on like at first, but I think eventually it'd be nice if I do one. Or should I do, after this series, do a whole new series on just like a water park instead of a theme park? So let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see a themed water park as part of this one with hotels as well, make it more of a resort, I'm happy to do that if you guys want me to do that. Again, I've never, even in Planet Coaster 1, I never really did any hotels, so that'd be pretty interesting to see how I get on doing that. But this shop, I'm really happy. Again, at the moment it's just a box basically. I need to go in with the theme in, with the lighting, with the decoration, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks. I think these dryers look fantastic. I'm really happy with them. Even if they don't get used, it's just a bit of theming, isn't it? So yeah, really fantastic. With these, I actually like putting these in as like wooden beams, which actually makes it a lot easier than using like actual wooden round pieces. I'd just rather just go in with that. It just kind of breaks it up. And when you put a roof on it as well, when you look up, it just looks no different. So you better just doing that just to save time. That's something I've always done. Even in Planet Coaster 1, I did that all the time. And it works. So if it works, you may as well use it. I think the tip with these Viking buildings is just to have them all different sizes, different roofs, different parts on top of the buildings. Like you see here, I've gone for a normal roof, and then I've got this extra bit on top. It also gives you height as well, which I needed to cover the warehouse in the background. But yeah, you don't want the same building just like copied and pasted. You need it to be as different as possible. But here, yeah, I've managed to get it in first person mode, which I absolutely love. So we're gonna have a look around. So that's what you'll see. Again, I've done a lot more theming since I recorded this, but that's what you see when you approach it. You can't see any of the warehouse building, which is fantastic. I'm gonna have a nice entrance sign here. You go in the queue. Again, there's more theming in here since I filmed it. We'll do a bit of queue jumping. We'll go over this. Couldn't go over that though. It wouldn't let me, so I had to go around. But yeah, again, I've got a bit of light theming in here. Lots of torches and stuff. And we're going to take a POV now. We're going to take a ride on it. So I'm going to leave you guys here while you enjoy the ride. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And the next one, we are going to be building the dive coaster. So thank you so much for watching, guys. And I will see you in the next Planet Coaster video. Bye.